What is going on, guys? Today I am back with episode 13 of my Philadelphia 76ers GM mode here on NBA 2K15. And in this video, I went to a kind of a new format of the 76ers GM mode. And I was going to kind of like an all-sim GM mode, but we'll play the games of the postseason or the playoffs if we can get to there. And when I was doing this, I recorded pretty much the rest of the year into like 4 different parts. And the audio file got corrupt and it was supposed to be live commentary, but since it ended up being corrupt, I'm gonna have to do a voiceover for this. So I did all this in advance and I'm not sure what really happened, so I'm gonna just try to commentate it as we go along. But the thing I was doing was simulating a couple games and then simulating a game with Simcast just to see how the team will do. And after that, we would have like eventually, I think, in a couple parts with the trade deadline, and then the video. I think there's only one video after the trade deadline, and then we get into either the playoffs or the offseason if we can make it. But this will be in about 4 separate parts. And here's the team. You see Dante Exum, Klay Thompson, Stanley Johnson, Nerlens Noel, DeMarcus Cousins, who we got in the offseason, Mason Plumlee, Jabari Bird coming off the bench with Mason Plumlee, Nikola Mirotic, Maurice Harkless, Tony Roden, KJ McDaniels, Gerald Wallace, and that wraps out pretty much the top 12. But Gerald Wallace doesn't get many minutes, and KJ McDaniels doesn't get that many too. But you see here, we have a pretty solid team with Stanley Johnson, this being his second year now in the NBA, and he's developed to, I think, like an 87 overall, and he's been a really good small forward for us. And Klay Thompson been a great shooting guard. We traded him for Rajon Rondo. Well, we traded Rajon Rondo for him back in a first rounder back in the last season. And we have Dante Exum at point guard, who we traded. Who did we trade for Dante Exum? We traded, trying to think here. I'm not sure really who we traded for. No, was it Joel Embiid? No. I remember it. I think it was Michael Carter Williams. Yeah, it was Michael Carter Williams. And we traded him for Dante Exum. And then Dante Exum's an 85 overall, and I think he's only 21 right now. So we see a really good point guard. And he's going to be, I think, really the point guard for this future. And then I think we have a solid starting 5 with Nerlens Noel at the power forward. And I think this team can really contend, if not this year, next year when all the progressing players happens. And we will see about that. So here we're simulating a couple games. Some of those press conferences really suck because they go, which group needs more improvement, and no matter which one you pick, your trust is going to go down. So I think from now on, I usually pick scouting department because it's only one person goes down, and once you ask him to scout prospects, his trust usually goes back up. So you can see here we are in Simcast simulating a game against the Toronto Raptors, and this game did not go too well. We're down by about 25 right now, and that's how we ended. We lose by 28. Klay Thompson was our leading scorer. DeMarcus Cousins was having a pretty disappointing year, to say the least. He was averaging 14 and about 8 when I expected him to average 20 and 10. But there was also a lot of, I guess, locker room problems. Like Mason Plumlee and Nikola Mirotic were both not happy that they weren't getting starting roles. Same with Jabari Bird. And you can see right here, Mason Plumlee is growing frustrated with his organizational role, and it kind of sucks in this game. In this 2K, there's no player role, so you can't send somebody who's 6-man, whose morale would not go down, or like a prospect where it would not go down. But in this game, there isn't, and pretty much if they're like above an 85, not an 85, like an 80, and if they're not a starter in GM mode, they're gonna get mad about it. So you can see here also Jabari Bird's getting mad, and I just told him I'm not going to start him over Dante Exum at this point, just because of Dante Exum's overall. And then you can see Nikola Mirotic is mad, and I'm not going to start him over Nerlens Noel. Really, he's not really proven himself over Nerlens Noel, and I just deny it. And his morale goes down too, but so be it. We might have to move him at the trade deadline, but you can see here we're 5-5 and top in our division. The Atlantic Division is really weak this year, and you can see our leading scorers: Stanley Johnson, Klay Thompson, DeMarcus Cousins, like I said, is having a disappointing year. Dante Exum is averaging 11 and 9, which I'm really happy with. And then you see Mirotic also averaging 10 points, and then Mason Plumlee has 10 and 8 off the bench. So this team is really good all around, and Klay Thompson is somehow leading our team in blocks. But we are gonna simulate a couple games here. But we keep going here. We're picking up a couple losses, and I was shocked to see that with our team. And the one thing in this game that happens a lot in GM mode, if you guys play it, is the training. Because once you'll get a message from your trainer saying you're training the guys too hard lowered, and then you'll get a message from your players a day later saying the training intensity is too low during practice and they want you to upgrade it, and then it's like a back and forth thing between the players and the staff. And then you might get a message from like a point guard, say Dante Exum says the training is not hard enough, he wants us to increase it, and our center DeMarcus Cousins saying the training we're pushing the guys too hard, so he wants us to decrease it. And you really have no choice there, just to, I guess, try to put it in the middle. But if it's already in the middle, then I have no idea what to do. It's just a really annoying thing in 2K. But you saw we got a trade there from the Warriors. Didn't want to do that. I think it was for Stanley Johnson. But let's see here. We're simulating a game in Simcast against the Hawks, and we fall out in the beginning. But we came back, and it looks like we take the lead right before halftime, but we lose it in the third quarter. And here's where the Hawks started to pull ahead. They scored 32-19 in the third quarter, and that's how they're gonna walk out with the win. And they are gonna win by 19. It looks like. As our leading scorer was Klay Thompson with 30 points, and once again DeMarcus Cousins, another disappointing game with only 13 points. And now Nerlens Noel isn't happy with his touches in the game, and I really didn't know what to say about that, because he's definitely not the first option on this team. And I set the options right there. I put it as DeMarcus, Stanley Johnson, and then Klay. And then here I get this from DeMarcus Cousins saying I think he wants to be traded, or his touches aren't enough for him. But I just put him at the #1 person, and then we get a press conference saying who's to blame for him demanding a trade. I just said the coaches, but I probably should have just said him. And I really don't want to trade him since he's a 92 overall, and he's like, I think he's 24 now, 25, and he's arguably the best center in the league. Him, probably Dwight Howard and Marc Gasol as the top centers in the league. But we get a Gerald Wallace saying retiring, so I'm just thanking him. Really don't want to offer him an assistant coach or anything like that. And then we get a message here from KJ McDaniels as the practices are being too easy. So this is what I said. But then you can go to player training, and then you can upgrade or increasing the amount of training they get, particularly with the player. And that's what I did right there. I guess bumped it up to high. And when they're fresh, you could do it to high. But when they're like exhausted, you could bump it down to low. And in this draft class, since we are in Season 3, I did not download a 2017 draft class, so I don't know any of these prospects at all. So I just scouted the top ones available, but I don't even think we have a first-round pick, to be honest. But we'll see when that time comes in the offseason if we want to make a trade for maybe someone, if there's someone that stands out a lot. And you could see here we are just still adjusting the minutes. Mason Plumlee's getting a lot of minutes, and he's getting 26. Not only 3 minutes behind Noel, who's a starter. We played a home and away with Washington. We won the first one, but lost the second one. And here we get an offer from the Knicks, Iman Shumpert and Corey Joseph for Klay Thompson, and I declined that. And speaking of the Knicks, we're going up against them in the Simcast in this game. Let's see if we could beat them, but we fall out to we lose the first quarter to them. We got blown out 41-16, and we're gonna have to pretty much win all 3 quarters to win this game. And it looks like in the third quarter it's back and forth, and we both tied 32 points, and we're gonna have to get a really solid fourth quarter to pull out this win, and it doesn't look like that's possible. We lose by 18 as we lose 123-105. We are 10-11, a game under 500, and first in the Atlantic Division, which is pretty insane of how bad it is with the Knicks, the Raptors, Celtics, and Nets. And I was really shocked we're there. But DeMarcus Cousins says they broke a promise with the touches, and I really don't know what to say about that since I put him #1 in the coaching thing where he's the #1 option to score, and he's saying that we lied to him, so I don't know what to do about that. We are going to simulate a couple games here, and then we're probably going to end it up on the Simcast against the Trailblazers. I get a nice offer here, Steven Adams for Mason Plumlee. I was seeing what Steven Adams did. He had 10-9 this year, but his just salary is too high, and I didn't want to give up Jabari Bird either, so I ended up just declining that. And actually, we're going to get a goal completed here. We sell 14 home games, and we get one of these messages off www.firemikeyourgeneralmanager.com, whoever you are. And it's just really funny that they put that in the game. And then I ended up getting my scouting report here, and after I backed out of it, after I just picked the next like top 5 prospects, my game actually froze right here on this screen. So I had to restart my Xbox, and then I got back into it. So I just was gonna finish up the game at the Trailblazers game, but I had to lower Dante Exum's player training intensity because I guess he's sluggish. You could see his season fatigue, and then we would end up simulating to this game. But I think we might end up getting a cutscene here to something. And it's just really nice to have cutscenes actually in this game, and not like in Madden or FIFA or NHL, where it's like the same thing every year. And NBA actually changes it. But I guess it's because really this is their only sport game, and EA's got to worry about like 4 different sport games, 5 different sport games a year. But we're going to end the episode simulating this thing in Simcast against the Portland Trailblazers, and we started out pretty much at halftime. We lost the first quarter and we lost the second quarter, but we're gonna have to get it back in the second half as we take a lead here, a big lead in the third quarter, and it looks like we could pull out with the victory as we are going to win 105 to, it looks like 95, a 10-point victory against the Trailblazers. But that is going to be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this new format of the 76ers GM mode. I will have the next couple parts, and then we'll get into the playoffs of the offseason. But that's it for me. Thank you all for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.